Okay, so today is the 13th, Tuesday. We're going to work on midpoint today. I'm going to model for you midpoint and endpoint, midpoint, endpoint. I'm hoping that I can get to area. That way I've covered everything that you need for your quarter test, but I'm hoping that you also remember area from previous years. Okay. I'm hoping that you remember area. You should remember area from 6th and 7th grade. All right, let's keep it moving. Yes.
Is this hexagon or a four part?
Okay, let's keep going. It's a quarter test. Y'all don't know by now what a quarter test does. That's pretty pathetic. Let's do it. Come on, y'all.
Is there like a help video for our project?
Yeah, I made a help video for your. Remember, I told you I was gonna post it.
No, I don't remember. But thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, here we go. Midpoint. Come on. We're gonna write the formula for midpoint here. The formula for midpoint. I'm gonna abbreviate and put MP. Okay. You're gonna add the x's together. The x coordinates you're gonna add together and divide by 2. That will give you your x coordinate for your midpoint. To find your y coordinate for your midpoint, you're going to add your y values together, your y coordinates together, and divide by 2. So you add your x coordinates together and divide by 2 to find your x coordinate for midpoint. You're going to add the y values or the y coordinates from your endpoints and divide by 2 to find your y coordinate for your midpoint. All right, so let's do it. You okay, babe? All right, so come on, y'all. You're going to add your x's. Let's label. This is x1, y1. This is x2, y2. First point, second point. Let's add our x's together. Our x coordinates for our endpoints, -4 plus 5. So we got -4 plus 5 divided by 2. Okay? Add your y coordinates together. What is it, baby?
-4 plus 5.
Yeah, you add your x's together and divide by 2.
Oh.
Now we're going to add our y's together and divide by 2. What are your y's? You're adding what plus what? Come on, y'all. What are your y's?
-4.
4 plus a -1. Good job. And divide that by what? 2. All right. So what's -4 plus 5? It is 1. So we got 1 divided by 2. What's 1 divided by 2? 1/2 or 0.5. Either or is okay. Now we have 4 plus a -1. What's that? 3. So what's 3 divided by 2? What's 3 divided by 2? That's 1.5. Or 1.5. Any questions about how to find the midpoint there? All right, let's do number.
So that's the answer?
That's it.
All right.
Let's do number 10, okay? The second problem. All right. X1, Y1. X2, Y2. First point, second point. Okay, so let's add our x's together and divide by 2. What are your x's here? What plus what? -1 plus a -6. Good job. Divided by 2. Now your y's. What are your y's that you add together? -6 plus 5. Good job, baby. And divide by 2. Okay. So what is -1 plus -6?
-7.
-7. What's -7 divided by 2?
3.5.
-3.5. Good job, babe. Okay. Now let's do the other. What's -6 plus 5? -1. What's -1 divided by 2? Any questions about that one?
No.
Okay. Anybody still copying before I move to the third problem? Okay, all right. Let's do 11. We're going to add our x's together and divide by 2. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so now let's add our x's together. What are our x's? What plus what? 2 plus 1. Good job, babe. Divided by 2. What are our y's? 4 plus a negative 3 divided by 2. What is 2 plus 1? 2 plus 1. 3. What's 3 divided by 2? 1.5. Okay. What's 4 plus 3 plus a negative 3 or just 4 minus 3? 1. What's 1 divided by 2? 0.5. Any questions about how to do these particular problems? Okay. So now I want you to complete these problems here. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to do this one right here, 20. Shh. Remember, this is x1, y1. Thank you. Thank you, babe. This is x2, y2, okay? We're going to add the x's together and divide by 2. Add the y's together and divide by 2. This one was a harder one because it's decimals. So that's why I'm doing this one. I'm going to do this out to the side. So my x's here are 3.1 plus... Say again, baby.
Can I shut the door?
Yes, baby. So I got plus a negative 0.52 divided by 2. My y's are going to be a negative 2.1 plus a negative 0.6 divided by 2. All right, so let's do this. We got 3.1. Cut it on, Miss Reyes. 3.1. And we got plus 0.52. And we're going to divide that, or negative. Second entry will go back to that line, and then I can insert a negative. Okay? So now I'm going to divide that by 2. And that gives me 1.29. Or 1 and 29 hundredths. Then I got negative 2.1 plus a negative 0.6. And that gives me a negative 2.7 divided by 2. That gives me a negative 1.35. And that's going to be my midpoint for number 20. Okay? Now I'm going to do endpoint now. Okay? So on my piece of paper, I'm going to do the second part of this sheet, which is finding the other endpoint. Okay? That's the one I want to go over. Then I'm going to give you time to complete that part. Go ahead and cross out 27 and 28. Okay? We're not going to do those two. All right, I'm going to show you how to do the bottom part, and then I'll give you time to complete. Please stop interrupting me so I can get this done. Okay? All right, on your piece of paper, this is the logic behind what we're getting ready to do. They're going to give you an endpoint. They're going to also give you a midpoint. And they're going to ask you to find the other endpoint. So the information is given. It's going to be your x1, y1. They're going to give you one of the endpoints. But the second endpoint is going to be missing, x2, y2. This is going to be missing. Okay? But they're also going to give you the point that is in the middle. Okay? So this is given. This you have to find. All right, write that down. Pause for the cause. Let that marinate real quick. Write it down, and then I'm going to give you an example, okay? All right. So now I'm going to explain how to find that other endpoint. Okay. So this is what's given. The endpoint -1 and 9. So we got -1, comma 9. That is given. The midpoint is given. -9 and -10. So we have -9, comma, -10. This is the information that's given. This is what you got to find. We're going to use the midpoint formula to find the endpoint that's missing. Midpoint formula is where you add the two x's together and divide by 2 to find the x coordinate for the midpoint. And then you're going to add the y's together and divide by 2 to find the y coordinate of the midpoint. We're going to use this formula to calculate the other endpoint. Watch what Ms. Reyes does. The information that's given is the x1. So I'm going to replace x1 with the -1. Okay. The other information that's given is the y1. I'm going to replace y1 with 9, what's given. So now I'm going to solve. Let's find the x coordinate first. We have -1 plus x2 is missing, divided by 2. And it's equal to the y value for midpoint, which is -9. We have this one. We have 9 plus the y2 divided by 2, which is equal to the midpoint coordinate for y, which is -10. So now I'm going to solve for what's missing. In order to get the x2 by itself, I've got to get rid of this 2 that's being divided. What's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So you're going to multiply both sides. You're going to multiply both sides by 2. When you multiply both sides by 2, the 2 as the denominator cancels out, and we're left with this expression on top. -1 plus x2 is equal to, what's this equal to? -18. Now what are we going to do to get x2 by itself? Add 1. Somebody said, good job. When I add 1 to both sides, this is 0, and I'm left with x2 is equal to what number?
18. Oh,
Negative, what? You said it so fast I couldn't understand.
17.
-17. Sorry, baby, I couldn't understand. All right, so that is what we get for x2. All right, so let's find y2. So what are we gonna do to get y2 by itself here? Multiply both sides by 2. When we multiply both sides by 2 here, draw a line. This cancels out, and I'm left with the expression on top. 9 plus y2. Bring down the equal. What do we get on this side? -20. Good job, babe. Now what are we going to do to get y2 by itself? Subtract 9. Excellent. Subtract 9 on both sides. We subtract 9 on both sides. This is gone, and we're left with y2 is equal to what over here? -29. So what is my end point? What's my end point? What comma what?
X2 is -17.
-17
is -29.
So -17 comma -29. Okay. I'm gonna give you a second or so to pause for the call. Shh, I wasn't hollering nothing. Okay, so let's do the next one. Endpoint. We're gonna do this one right here. Okay, number 22. My endpoint for that one, or the endpoint for that one, is 2, 5. This is my x1, y1. And they give you a midpoint. Right, midpoint, sorry. The midpoint that they give you is 5, comma 1. That's x, y. Miss Reyes, what is, sorry, x, y. What is missing? The other endpoint is missing, okay? X2, Y2 is missing. So we're going to write the formula for midpoint, substitute the information that we need, and solve. So we have the x's add together and divide by 2. The y's added together and divide by 2. That's going to give me my x and my y coordinate for my midpoint. Okay, so information that they give you, 2 for your x1, 5 for your y1. So now, in order to find the x2, we got, which is equal to the x coordinate 2. And we got this, which is equal to the y coordinate. What's the y coordinate? What's the y coordinate for the midpoint? 1. So now let's solve. How do we solve, and I put y by accident. How do we solve for x2? What do we do first? Multiply by 2 on both sides. Very good. This is gone, and we're left with 2 plus x2, sorry. What does this side equal? 4. Now what do we do to get x2 by itself? Subtract 2 on both sides. This gives me my x2 is equal to what? 2. Now let's find my y2. What am I going to do on both sides? Multiply by 2. And this cancels out, and I'm left with 5 plus y2 is equal to what? 2. Now how do I get?
-5.
Minus 5 on both sides. This gives me y2 is equal to what number? -3. Okay, so what's the ordered pair here? 2, comma, -3. Good job. It's like 2 equations for 1 problem. Essentially is what it is. Okay? I want you to finish the rest of the sheet on your own. Any questions? All right, good deal. Let's get her done. I'm going to do perimeter and area. Shh. Perimeter is the distance around an object. The area is how many square units are on that flat surface. So first thing you do is graph the ordered pairs. -4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the x. +6 is up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the y. This is D. 4.
Wait, I'm not sure.
Can you give us a second?
Shh. Okay, come on. Shh. Y'all throw me off when you start talking. I'm thinking you're done. So close your mouth so I can slow it down a little bit. It's misleading when y'all do that. Stop beating. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3, 1, 2, 3. This is E. -4 and 0. This is F. So D, E, F. So now,
Guess what?
hush. So now we want to find the area and the perimeter, okay? So this is how you do that. To find the area, this is a triangle. The formula for area is 1/2 base times height. So, shh, that's why I'm doing it now. Can you please be quiet? 1/2 the length of the base. This is the bottom part of the triangle, the flat part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. The base is 6. From the base, from the bottom up to the top is the height here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we multiply all three numbers. What's half of 6?
3.
What's 3 times 8? So that's 24 units squared. Generic unit squared. Perimeter is the, huh? Say again?
It's just adding.
It's adding, but it's more to it than that. Shh. Gosh, can y'all please be quiet? What's the problem, baby?
I thought we were doing perimeter, not area. I'm tripping.
We're doing area. A is equal to 1/2 base times height. Okay, now we're gonna do perimeter because perimeter is gonna be harder than the area. Shh. We already know the distance from here to here. We need to find this distance as well as this one. So here, we cannot count the number of units from here to here because it cuts through the boxes. So what you're going to do is draw a right triangle and use Pythagorean theorem. Okay? And Pythagorean theorem is something you already said that you didn't cover last year, so please listen. The formula for Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay? Where your A and your B are your legs to a triangle, a right triangle. Let me show you. This is a right triangle. The legs, the flat surfaces, this is your A, this is your B. Your C is the side that's opposite of the right angle. That's your C. Okay, so we're going to draw a right triangle to find the measurement, and I'm going to use a different color so you can see it. I'm going to draw a right triangle here, from here to F, so that I can find this distance right here. So I can count my A, I can count my B, but the slanted side C is the side that I'm missing. So my A here is 1, 2, 3. My B here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now I'm going to substitute A and B into the formula, Pythagorean theorem. A is 3, B is 8. Okay, so I just substitute. Now I'm going to solve. A squared, 3 squared is 9, plus 8 squared is what? 64. So now I'm going to add. Look, 9 plus 64 is what? 72. 73. Equals my C squared. What's the opposite of squaring a number? Square root. So I'm going to find the square root of that. So the square root of 70, what did I say, 70 what, 3? So it's about 8.54. So this side right here is about 8.54. Or I'm just going to say right now the square root of 70 what? 73. Okay? So now let me find the other. I'm going to use blue again. No, I'm not, because I don't feel like picking that up. I'm going to use this green. Draw a right triangle. This is the side I'm trying to find here. So my A, this side right here is 1, 2, 3. What's my B from here to here? Good job. B is 8. So I'm going to do Pythagorean theorem again. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I'm going to substitute 3 squared. Did I already do that? Yes. So it's what? The square root of what? So let's add all the sides together. Calm down, please. We got 6 plus the square root of 73 plus the square root of 73. Let's type it in and see what we get. Okay, you got it? And what does that give us? That gives us about 23 units. All right, let's do the second one. We got 5 and 4. 2 and 1. 5 and -2. So this one is Q, 5 and 4, 2 and 1 is R, and this is S. Finding the area is going to be easier. It's 1/2 base times height. Okay. So we got A is equal to 1/2. This is the base, the bottom part of the triangle, the flat surface. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6. The height is from the base to the top of the triangle. 1, 2, 3 is the height. We multiply all three numbers together. What's half of 6? What's 3 times 3? So my area here is 9 units squared. Okay. Now we're going to do the perimeter. We got to find these two measurements here. This one right here. So we're going to draw a right triangle. We're going to use Pythagorean theorem to find the sides. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. This is the right angle. This side, 1, 2, 3. So my A is 3 here. 1, 2, 3. My B is 3 here. So I have 3 squared plus 3 squared equals C squared. The slanted side is the side I'm trying to find. This side right here. So this is going to be 9 plus 9. What's 9 plus 9? 18. It's okay, baby. We're going to find the square root on both sides. I'm going to leave it as the square root of 18 so I can get an accurate answer. This one might be the same. Let's see. Is it? This is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's the same, right? So this is going to also be the square root of what? 18. So let's add all the sides together. That's 6 plus the square root of 18 plus the square root of 18. Make sure you close the parentheses when this is in the calculator, okay? So we got 6 plus the square root of 18 plus the square root of 18. And what does that give you? About what? About 14 point what? 48 or 4 what? About 49 units. Okay, and then you can do the last one on your own. Any questions? I'm going to leave this up here so you can see it.